All right. Honorable Keynan, talk to me about, because it appears that we cannot agree on what exactly happened at the meeting, but you were there. What exactly did the president say about loyalty, but also rallying the members of parliament to do a few things that would not appear to be within the mandate of parliamentarians?
Thank you. I think let's appreciate, first of all, I have the privilege of being a member of the Finance and Planning Committee, which dealt with this particular issue, and also having been part of the meeting that took place in Naivasha. I think my friend is trying to use his own creative imaginations to cook stories that were never there. I think I 100% agree with what was said by Mr. Ocheng. What the PG and the executive did actually was to review the performance of the MPs who are allied to the president and the members of the executive, and prepare themselves for this new session. It's a reality. I haven't had anywhere. I was there from morning until evening when we left. Anywhere where the president demanded for loyalty. This must be a cooked story that existed in the creative mind of an individual who was just trying to figure out what may have been whispered. So that story did not, I haven't had it at all. Two, the reason why parties fight for a parliamentary majority is to control a parliamentary agenda. If you go to America today, the reason why the Democrats and the Republicans fight for an absolute majority, both in the Congress and the Senate, is to control the government agenda. And Kenya is part of the global world. Kenya is part of the thriving international democracies. And the reason why Baba, and I'm glad that Mr. Osos is here and his team, and I've had the privilege of being also an ODM member, I think the kind of democracy that exists in KK does not exist, or has never existed in ODM. And I know he's a later-day member because I've welcomed him. I was his national deputy chairman.
I think
that being the case, I think
right of reply on that.
I think we have agreed. Let's debate with a bit of civility.
Just carry on, Honorable Keynan.
So that being the case, there is no harm. What the president did to bring together members of parliament and members of the executive to go through the governance agenda is perfectly in order. It's something that ought to be done every day if there was an opportunity. Because it gives members of parliament an opportunity to familiarize themselves the different activities, developmental activities actually in government which are taking place. And it's true what the Honorable Ocheng said. I didn't know where the offices of, I know when that, the legal framework for...
Set up last parliament.
Yes, we passed it in the last parliament. It came through a private member's bill.
Yes, Honorable Sakaja that time.
Sakaja that time. I didn't know where their offices were, to be honest. And we were told where their offices were somewhere in Kasarani. That's public information. If anything, that organization will have advertised that this is where they're headquartered. How is that harmful? If anything, it's supportive, it's facilitative.
But I'm just wondering, now that you know, so what do you do with that information?
Just listen to this. Why did we form that particular entity? We formed that particular entity just to galvanize, to harmonize all employment opportunities, and in particular for the youth, and give them an entity that specifically deals with giving them information on employment opportunities, providing facilitation to get in those jobs, and being there, because right now, you know, there is serious scarcity of jobs. There's a lot of underemployment. There's a lot of unemployment. So the reason Honorable Sakaja actually particularly proud, and I thank him, he thought out of the box. So now that we have that entity, and there are a lot of opportunities. I learned a lot yesterday, to be honest. I learned a lot yesterday, the kind of opportunities that the president and the government negotiated for Kenyans, especially in the Middle East, in Europe, that we're, you know, once that is utilized, like I didn't know that we require close to 2,500 medical
nurses.
I think only nurses, or
in one country, that is.
That's one country. Germany provided a number of opportunities, thousands of opportunities, and many other countries, Poland. So once Kenyans get this, and remember, I don't know whether it's 2010 or 2018, Kenya was declared as the best in human resource capital. And that's what we learned yesterday also. Being the best in human resource capital means we have a highly resilient...
You mean in Africa, right?
In Africa. The best in human resource capital in Africa. Meaning Kenyans are highly resilient, highly educated, and people with very likable character. And that's what has been demonstrated by the Kenyans who are outside there. So the diaspora community, which is a representative of the Kenyan society, has remained our ambassadors to the extent that everybody who has had an opportunity to interact with a Kenyan worker appreciates the performance, the agility of the Kenyan public worker. So that being the case, the fact that we are given that opportunity actually is kudos. But I think there's one thing that my friend associate doesn't understand. What is the role of member of parliament? The role of member of parliament, the moment you seek an elective office, you are everything. You are jack of all trades. Your work is to facilitate, your work is to oversight, your work is to represent, your work is to do budget making. Your work is not just to go to the floor of the house and say, you need to do this. Basically, your work is to be a lobbyist in every aspect, to lobby for your concerns. So seated somewhere, blaming the government for not creating job opportunities, yet you don't have the aura, yet you don't have the courage to go to the field to look for job opportunities for your citizen, is an abuse. So I want to urge my friend here.
But Mheshimiwa Keynan, there's something I'm not getting from you. Now, since yesterday, you know where the National Employment Authority is. How does that improve your work? What are you going to do with that?
You see, the first thing first, that entity has an opportunity to collect all information pertaining to employment opportunities locally, internationally, and everywhere. So what happens is, you go there, you are told there are this number of opportunities in Germany, there are this number of opportunities in UK, this number of opportunities in, whether it's private or public.
As a member of parliament?
Yes, of course. And your work is to relay the same. Take, for example, where I come from. I come from one of...
But that authority has a mandate,
Let me finish this, my friend. Allow me to finish this. My work as a member of parliament, for example, the people of Eldas, how many of them have access to these newspapers? Okay? If any, very few of them go through this unless it's online. My work through my office, and that is why we have constituency offices, is to collect all the information, enabling information from the National Employment Authority, pass the same to my office, pass the same to the locations, the villages, and allow individuals who are interested, who are qualified, to apply. And that is part of my job. If I do not, if Mr. Honorable Ososi doesn't know that is part of his job description, then I think it's the wrong field.
I don't have a problem with what you're saying. The challenge is, Honorable Keynan, you see, your mandate is defined in the Constitution. Article 95 talks about the role of a member of the National Assembly.
Yes, what is representation?
Can I raise the question, then you answer?
Yes.
So, if clearly the Constitution says what you are supposed to be doing, which I think you believe you've been doing, but as of yesterday, you now know where the National Employment Authority is. And it's an authority which has power and responsibilities to the people of Kenya. Is that really your work, or your work is at Parliament and doing what you're supposed to be doing as part of the Constitution?
Let me educate you, my dear brother. Let me educate you on this. I want you to define what is representation. Don't go even anywhere else. What is representation?
The National Assembly represents the people of the constituencies and special interests in the National Assembly.
Just define what is representation.
The National Assembly deliberates on and resolves issues of concern to the people.
Absolutely.
National Assembly.
Issues of concern to the people? Is employment not concern to the people?
In the National Assembly.
No. The National Assembly is a platform, a debating chamber. That is supposed
and because you resolve the concerns of the people, you pass a law for establishment of the National Employment Authority, which you did.
Let me also educate you on this as also.
And then you oversight it,
as a practitioner politician. Also, let me also educate you on this. Look at this. It's two aspects. Members of Parliament are first of all elected from individual. They are elected from particular constituencies, and some are also nominated. When you come to the debating chamber, your first point of contact are your electorates, your voters. You bring the concerns of your voters to the debating chamber. If it is representation, you bring their concerns, underemployment, unemployment, security, literally everything. If it is legislation, you do the same. If it is budget making, you do the same. Okay? If it is parliamentary diplomacy, you do the same. So my work as a legislator, when I come to the floor of the House, the first thing that I'll ask myself, I have been elected by the people of Eldas. How do I assist them? By being part and parcel of this legislative house, August House. You do it now through, you look for opportunities. How do you look for opportunities? Either from the government, from the public sector, from individuals. That's why I see myself.
Okay.
And maybe I've expanded my horizon of thinking.
That's fine.